protect ourselves and all that. First of all, it's Burkina's gold. It's not his gold.
Facts.
Exactly.
That's the first thing.
Facts.
What business is it of his?
Okay.
It's none of his business. It's Burkina's gold. It
Because
doesn't
why did
concern
you
him.
get your ass up on the mic? It
I
feels
love
so
it.
like inclined to.
I love it, man. It's common fucking sense. What's poppin'? What's going on? What's going on, man? 3, 2, 1. Top Hill, episode 228.
Ooh.
Welcome to another episode of the Top Hill Live. This is your boy, Mr. Top Hill Live, a.k.a. Imani Raw.
And I am D. Carmen.
D. Carmen in the building. Yes, sir. Let's get into it, man. Welcome to another episode, guys. If you guys don't know, this show is all about bridging the gap between the culture, bridging the diaspora. This is the hub right here, man. We're going to learn from each other, grow with each other, and build with each other. You hear me? All right. Let's get right into it. Let's get into it. Say his name, man. Ibrahim Traoré. As I said before, guys, like when it comes to these kind of topics and information, us being on the other side of the world, we get information differently, and it took a lot more digging to figure out actually who this person is, what he's about, which is why I did, practice a little bit of caution when we first dove into it. But now I can say confidently, I'm with this man. Not just because of how he speaks, what he stands for, but also the people's love for this man. Mm-hmm. It is not fake. It is not fabricated, and we're gonna get into all of that tonight. So
Keep Ibrahim protected at all costs.
At all
I can't wait to hear him talk.
Man, when I first heard him speak, I thought it was AI. I was like, "Ain't no way this man speaking English like this." But no, this man is he's him.
Educated.
Very well educated. He has his degree from the University of Ouagadougou in Burkina Faso. I did get a little bit of background on him. So he rose to power after leading a coup that ousted the previous junta leader at 34. He became the world's youngest head of state at the time. That's an incredible accomplishment right there. So let's go ahead and get right into it, man. And shout out to Promise in the chat right now too, man. He here representing for his country and his president right here too, man. So, all right, let's get into it. This is Tears Flow as Ibrahim Traoré addresses the African Union for the first time, and man, powerful. Let's get to it.
You will hear about the African Union. Yes, it exists. But what is the effect of the African Union in reality? We cannot talk about integration in the theme and not talk about the African Union. Because it is this organization that should unite us, create real integration. But we regret to see these wars that persist on the African continent, killing millions of young people. And that this organization, which has heads of state, with armies, is unable to organize itself to support certain countries. The Union is not just a word. The Union is a symbol. And we, the youth, should learn a lesson from this situation to unite, to make integration a reality. I was unpleasantly surprised when Ethiopia, which hosts the headquarters of the African Union, was experiencing a conflict. And when I saw the Prime Minister put on a military uniform and announced the closure of the university in Addis Ababa to face the threat. I did not see any action from the African Union to protect these headquarters. Most Western states saw Addis Ababa falling, packing up and leaving. Ethiopia fought, found an internal solution, and is living more or less in peace today. The children of Congo have been dying for years. Several other conflicts, such as in Sudan, exist on the continent. We would have liked to see the African Union generate the forces and all the necessary strategies to support these states so they can regain peace. For nearly 10 years, the Sahel has been the theater of international terrorism. But we see no support from these organizations to find a solution to this problem. Worse, a few days ago, a country foreign to Africa openly announced having supported and participated in a cowardly terrorist and barbaric attack against the forces of our confederation in Tinsawatten. The African Union did not utter a word to condemn this interference by a state outside of Africa in the internal affairs of our states. I would like them to hear this and therefore break their silence and take action so that the youth can believe in the African Union.
We cannot afford to lose this man. I said Africa cannot afford to fail this man or lose him for any reason. We must defend him with the last drop of our blood. This is a God sent.
Amen.
The spirit of our ancestors have waken up. Please, I beg every other African countries, other African militaries to rise in protection of this man for your own good. Look at how Boko Haram is unaliving you people, and this man has come for a rescue. We cannot afford to lose him. We cannot afford to fail him. We cannot afford to fail this man again. We cannot afford to fail him or to lose him in the hands of the West or the Americans. We cannot. We must protect him. He must be protected. He must be protected at all costs. He must be protected. Let the people of the soil protect this man. Protect him.
This is Zambia. Zambia is a long way.
You will hear about the...
All right. Yeah.
The time for change is now.
Right now.
And like they said, this man must be protected because we've seen history repeat itself all too many times.
Yeah.
And it's a revolution happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, the time is now, y'all. Like, this man, he's extremely intelligent, very well spoken, but his heart is also in the right place as well too. You can tell just by the way how he's speaking what he means and what he wants, not just for the betterment of his country, but the entire continent. This is his first time speaking at the African Union, and he did not hesitate to call out some of the things that he thought was egregious. Like, why is it that we all share this land and we can't protect ourselves or look out for ourselves? Mm-hmm. You don't need anybody else. Africa does not need anybody. Y'all have all the resources. Y'all have the people. Y'all have the manpower. It's the mindset. And what this man is introducing to the world is the mindset and the belief that this can be done. You know what I mean? To just unify. Because why would the West be so scared of somebody like this? He's not threatening to go to war with a Western country.
Right.
He's not saying, hey, down with America or down with the UK or down with France. He's not saying none of that. All he said was, France, get out of my country.
Yeah.
We want to govern and sovereign our own land, and we're going to unite Africa. Why is
that too much to ask for?
Why is that even a question? They should be able to do that. So, now understanding him, then we had the United States
It's always one.
General Michael Langley, who was the first black 4-star Marine general.
I wonder why.
Right. Speaking for the African department. He was asked questions in Congress. Let's go ahead and hear what he has to say.
Absolutely, Chairman. I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traoré and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves.
Like, how far into the government do you have to get before you automatically adopt the George Bush voice?
He does sound a little bushy.
And we're going to make sure that these people in Burkina Faso don't get loose.
Right. Yeah. But yeah.
That is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime. There's a number of examples across. Even in Sudan, what's going on with the rapid support forces and Burhan of the Sudan forces, when you get down to it, is all.
All right, I had enough. You guys got the gist. He basically accused Ibrahim Traoré of keeping the gold reserves for himself and for personal use and not for the benefit of his country. Well,
who are we to keep coming in and thinking that it's
our business in
the first place? They're like, no, that's some of our gold too. How about y'all open up the safe?
Where's the? Never mind. Yeah,
open it up.
Fort Knox, what's going on, man?
Now that's one thing I'm not gonna say I agree with the Tesla man, but he has a point. Let's see what's there.
Yeah.
Let's open it up.
Ain't nothing there. It's in Africa. So him saying this echoed across the world, and black people in the diaspora has responded in mass, not just in Burkina Faso, not just the African continent, but also in the diaspora. This is where we saw all those marches and stuff like that coming together in solidarity and support of Ibrahim Traoré. Now, here is Ibrahim Traoré's response to General Langley.
What happened with that general? There is still an issue, and I would perhaps like him to admit his mistake if he was sent, and to understand that this was not the right mission. If he was misled, he should say so publicly, or otherwise admit before the Senate that he was mistaken. Or also, if it was done with bad intentions, well, we will confront him as we should, because everything he said is a lie. And it's really shameful to see an adult lie, to see an adult, a general officer of a great army lie. It's very serious. First, he talked about Burkina's gold being used for what? For us to protect ourselves and all that. First of all, it's Burkina's gold, it's not his gold.
Facts.
Exactly.
That's the first thing.
Facts.
What business is it of his?
Okay.
It's none of his business. It's Burkina's gold. It
Because
doesn't
why did
concern
you
him.
get your ass up on a mic? It
I
feels
love
so
it.
inclined to.
I love it, man. It's common fucking sense. This man has it, bro. This is their goal. What business is it of ours or any of the rest of the world's to worry about what they have?
Because our country has a great way of brainwashing people to think,
Yeah.
you know what, God damn it, that is some of our gold. No.
It's the audacity, man. It's
Why?
that
Why did
mindset
you?
is so crazy to me to have the
And then your nigga ass ain't getting none of it. They might have paid you a pretty penny just to get up and be the front man.
right. And this man,
And that's why he said that. He's like, I don't know if you were brainwashed or you were misled, but
this is also how genius he gave him grace in the beginning. He's like, maybe you were given false information. Maybe you were just mistaken. It was a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
But admit to your mistake.
yeah, publicly.
You know what I mean? Publicly, since you wanted to mistakenly lie publicly. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Second, he's lying. Because Burkina never had any gold reserves until we came. We are the ones who started setting aside gold in the treasury of Burkina Faso. Otherwise, there wasn't a single gram of gold reserves in Burkina. That means he's lying again.
Oh,
And another thing, when he says that we use it to protect ourselves and all that, we're free. If the people have decided that we should govern them, we have a duty to protect ourselves. So we are free. What business is it of his? And the part that hurt me the most,
This is great.
not because he's a general or because he's American or anything like that, but because he's black. And it really hurts, Ruku, to see a black person being used to fight against another black person.
Man.
And this didn't just start now. It needs to stop. You see, it's very dangerous. Even Libya, who destroyed Libya? Once again, they used a black person. In movies, back in the day, in America, black people always played the villain. But we told ourselves, it's just in the movies. But why do black people have to keep playing the bad guy? And I think that if he heard this interview, he should look at himself in the mirror, feel ashamed, come out and say, well, I was given a false report. I regret it. He needs to say it publicly. If it was a false report, then it was made up, because it's possible. It's possible that he was given a false report, that he should reveal it, because you saw, when I take another neighbor, again, as I say among us, a black man, the Ivorian Minister of Defense, who goes around, travels to Turkey, meets the Turkish Minister of Defense, and tells him, you must not sell weapons. You see how much that hurts? When it's a black person who behaves like that, it really hurts. Did they make a false report? Let him come out and deny. I don't know what happened.
Man, round of applause to this man. He says what hurts him the most is not the fact that he's American or, you know, whatever the case is. It hurts him the most that this is another black man, that they're using our own people against us. He looks at, even though this is a black American, he still sees him as a brother. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, most of us, foundational black Americans, come from West Africa. Burkina Faso has a lot of DNA in a lot of black Americans. He's very smart. He understands this stuff. You know what I mean? So all he wants him to do is to apologize, because number one, he's right. That's their goal. They can do what they want with it. And then number two, if he said they didn't start collecting the gold until they came into power, like what business is it for anybody else? It's theirs. You know?
Because he isn't speaking his own thoughts. He's speaking the thoughts fed to him. Right.
And I bet he didn't realize the Roar did. So he said, shout out to Patience. He said, the sad truth is that Western and Arabian countries benefit from African gold and minerals. Yeah, exactly. Snyder said, yep, true. We are left with a province named after gold, but with little to no gold left in it, all sent to the West. Right. Now, this is another clip right here. This just gives me a little bit more context. Just to see how this man thinks and who he is, this gave me a much greater understanding. So let's hear him speak to this.
But I imagine, that people didn't respect black people. Even today, it still goes on. Black people have always been labeled as subhuman. Some actually saw us as animals. You've heard about the stories of colonization and slavery. Black people were tortured, displayed in cages like wild animals in Europe and all that. Black people were castrated to prevent them from even having offspring. Black people were treated as less than animals. You know that in Congo they considered cardboard to be more valuable than black skin. They preferred to dry rubber on black people's skin rather than pay for cardboard to dry the rubber. Black people have suffered a lot. So slavery for centuries and centuries, colonization, and this war, you see that they came and took our ancestors without their consent. They sent them to the slaughterhouse on the front lines, and when they came back, you heard what happened in Senegal. When they tried to claim their money, they were killed. That is to say, they do not consider black people. And yet they went to fight alongside so-called allies who treated them like that. You can imagine, but I imagine, that people didn't respect black people.
According to this report, I haven't watched the full video yet, but Michael Langley did end up apologizing.
Okay.
So, we'll dig into that. You guys can let us know in the comments. I believe he spoke to somebody actually in Kenya. Let me see. Maybe if I can find it, I'll look at it.
But like I said, like you said as well, he was giving him a lot of grace by saying like maybe you were fed the wrong information.
Right.
Because all too often we are and end up pointing the guns at each other.
Right.
And I'm glad that Ibrahim is so graceful about how he's going about this revolution.
Yeah.
So you can't pull the, oh, he's aggressive, he's a literate, he's an angry black man. Like,
right.
He's just using his words, common sense, and peace for now. But he said, we will defend ourselves.
Yeah.
We will defend ourselves.
Right. And as they have the right to.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember Langley saying that, they do have a right to defend themselves. But, yeah, there's a lot of... I'm going to have to dig into this
Yeah, I was
later.
say, there's a lot of, like...
There's back and forth. There's some
back
saying
and
that
forth, some rage bait.
Yeah. Some saying that he's refusing, some saying that he did. We'll dig into it a little bit later. But, yeah. One thing that is going on in Burkina Faso right now, within 2 years of them kicking out France, they were able to build free housing communities for their country.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah, just amazing. So
I am interested in what Burkina Faso looked like prior to this revolution.
Right. So I mean, it's kind of crazy, like for him to only be in power but for so long, and to see what they're developing so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he's doing all the right things. He partnered with his neighbors, Mali and Niger. Mm-hmm. They're all working together. Like, just 3 countries working together in solidarity can help build much faster. And so now we're going to dig into actually going to Burkina Faso.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this is who Ibrahim Traoré is. I support him fully. And, guys, every single time that a man like this steps up, they try to find a way to take him down. They try to misinterpret, confuse the people in media with propaganda and stuff like that. And, this person looks like he has a very clear mission. It's just to unify Africa and its people, including the ones in the diaspora who were stolen. This is a message that I know I can stand behind. And yeah, man. So we got to protect this person at all costs. But one thing I will say too, no matter how many times they try to kill us, we never truly die. We multiply.
My boobs only stop.
Hill, top,